Hey guys, Ron Lyons here, and I am sitting on an open house right now. I've got quite a few going on this weekend, but I wanted to do my market update and bring you like a tip or trick or two to help you sell your house. And what I'm going to talk about is getting your house actually ready for sale. It's when we see the numbers, especially like in Carter Ranch and Light Farms, and we see kind of what's going on, you start to realize that there's so many homes that are just not ready to sell. And you know, it's sad that that's the case because it doesn't have to be that way, but I'm not real sure if it's a breakdown on the part of real estate agents not educating the people who are trying to sell their homes, or if it's a matter of just, you know, maybe some obstinance or something on the part of someone who owns a home and not wanting to do the things necessary to sell the home. But the numbers that are out there right now are not really great numbers as far as Carter Ranch and Light Farms are concerned. And so I'm hoping that through this video, you'll be able to catch a tip or two that's going to help you actually sell your house. Now, before we actually get to the tips and tricks and things like that I think you need to know, let's go over the actual numbers for Light Farms and for Carter Ranch. We're going to start with Carter Ranch, and let me just warn you, if anybody comes in through that door, I've had traffic and then it's been quiet for a minute and then traffic, so somebody could come in at any time. If they do, I'm going to kind of respectfully stop the video, and then I'll be back just as soon as I can. So I've turned off the music. It's a little echoey in this house because of the hardwoods and tile and all that sort of thing. So just have a little bit of grace for that and understand that I'm actually working while I'm working. So in Carter Ranch right now, there are, believe it or not, 21 homes for sale. 21 homes for sale. What that means is that if you're considering selling your house, your competition right now is absolutely fierce. This isn't a market or a time period when we have just, you know, 9 or 10 homes for sale in Carter Ranch. There are 21 active listings in Carter Ranch right now. And let me kind of give you a breakdown of how long those homes have been on the market. So as far as less than a month on the market, 8 of the 21. So a lot of those just went on. Between 30 and 60 days on the market, we have 3. Now here's the part that's not so great. Homes that have been on the market in Carter Ranch for 60 days or more, 10. And let me explain to you why that's not so great. That's not so great because if you look at the homes that have sold in Carter Ranch, the average days on the market is 52. So when you cross that line of 52, then you know you're kind of in a not so wonderful area. And right now there are 10 homes in Carter Ranch that are past the 60-day mark. And if I'm going to go through some of these and tell you some of the real hardcore numbers, 130 days plus, over 200 days, over 300 days, over 140 days, over 108 days, over 128 days, over 115 days. There's some homes on the market right now in Carter Ranch that are just camping. And so what do you do about that? Well, it depends. Every home is a little different. But by and large, if you were to go through and analyze most of these listings that are not selling, it's not because of the market. You know, I'll show you the sold numbers here in just a second. I'll tell you about them. It's not the market. The market is actually doing really well. It's how the homes are listed, how they're prepped for sale, and many times the price point at which people are coming into the market. And that's exactly what's affecting things right now. So if you're going to price your home, if you're going to be pretty hardcore about pricing your home on the higher end of the market, then your home better be amazing. It better look fantastic. It better be really ready to sell. And many times that's not the case. People are putting homes on the market and they're not really ready. You have lots and lots of issues, and I could go through a long list of things, but anything that someone walks in and sees the house and they say, okay, we're going to have to do this or we're going to have to do that. And it can be something like changing paint color. It could be upgrades. It could be something like stretching carpet. It could be almost anything like that. So the thing is, you're actually trying to sell a product, and the product is your home. And just sticking it on the market does not necessarily mean that's going to happen. Not actually at all does it mean that's going to happen. So what you've got to do is be sure that your home actually looks wonderful, that it's something that entices people to imagine themselves living there. If the first thing they do when they walk in your house is start with a long list of all the things that they're going to have to do, and it represents a lot of stress and time and trouble, guess what? They're going to move on to another one of 21 homes and see what they're all about. So think about that. Be really, really smart in how you approach this. A little bit of time and effort invested, a little bit of money invested up front can help you get so much more for your house when it actually does sell. And also expedite that process so that your home actually sells much quicker. So let's, okay, I hear some people coming in, so I'm gonna stop the video right here, and then I'm gonna come back and we'll hit the sold homes and talk about those numbers. So I'll be right back. All right, guys, I'm back. Thank you for that quick pause. Had a couple come through and take a look at this house, so that's awesome. This house has been in super high demand. I don't think it's going to last very long at all. This is one that is absolutely and totally prepped for sale. So we did some designer colors inside. We updated all of the doorknobs from old tacky brass to brushed nickel. We did light fixtures, ceiling fans, freshened the whole place up, and repaired all the little things that needed to be repaired, and it looks absolutely incredible. Had the yard done, meaning everything shaped up, cleaned up, and the house just looks completely different. So that's a little bit of what I'm talking about, but we'll get more into that in just a minute. In Carter Ranch, the homes that have sold, let's see, there are 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 homes that have sold and closed within the last 30 days. No, actually that's not true, within the last 90 days. So how long were the homes on the market? So the number of homes that sold in less than 30 days, and this should be a very, very positive number for those of you who think that, you know, the market's real bad and you can't sell your home. 4 homes sold in less than 30 days. That is fantastic. And there's something unique about all 4 of those homes that sold in less than 30 days, and we'll talk about that in just a second. 3 homes sold between 30 and 60 days. 5 homes took more than 60 days. But the average, or the average, 51 days. So the average time on the market. So if you take your longest time on the market to your shortest time on the market, 51 days. So if I had a home that was on the market right now, or if I was going on the market, I would know that that threshold that I need to try and work under is around 51 days. So let's just say 2 months. If your home's not sold in 2 months, you need to look at what's going on. And you need to figure out what's going wrong, what's not right, what needs to be fixed, what needs to be adjusted. The problem is that once you start to be on the market for a certain amount of time, let's just say around 90 days is kind of a critical point. When you start on the market at the 90-day point, you're actually starting to get market worn. That means that all these real estate agents have all these same numbers that I've got. And they look and they say, well, this home's been on the market for X number of days, let's just say 90 days plus, and it hasn't sold yet. So does that mean that it's overpriced, or that there's something fatally wrong with the home, something that no one wants, or is it going to require too much money to fix it up, you know, that sort of thing? So it's not likely that you've got a home that can't be sold. They don't usually put really bad floor plans out, definitely not in Carter Ranch. Definitely not in light farms. So it's probably one of the other 2 areas. Either it needs too much fixing up, repair work, updating, etc., or it's just priced too high. So that's kind of the deal right there. Think about those numbers and think about those statistics and be 100% certain that you've got everything ready to sell, meaning from your price point all the way down to the way the house actually shows and looks. So I tell you what, I'm going to hit pause real quick. I hear more people, and then I'll be back in just a second. We'll talk about light farms. Okay, guys, I'm back. Sorry about that. That one took a little bit longer, but you know what? It's a blessing to have traffic rolling in and out of this house. And I've got a handful this weekend that are on open house. And I'm a real estate agent that still does do open houses because you know what, I'm out here actively trying to sell a house. Why in the world wouldn't I have it open and be inviting people to come in and see the very product that I'm trying to sell? So my question to you is this: if you are selling your house right now, how was your open house this weekend? And if you didn't have an open house this weekend, why not? Why isn't your home open every Saturday and every Sunday until it's sold? It makes no sense to me. It's like a car dealership, and it only opens like one Sunday or something per month to sell cars, when most people are out looking for cars on the weekend. Why in the world wouldn't you have your dealership open? So anyways, don't get me started on that. That's a whole separate topic. And do homes sell at open houses? You better believe they do. Absolutely. Absolutely. Do homes sell for open houses that aren't held? Well, there's no open house being held, so the home doesn't get sold that way for sure. There's a 100% guarantee for you. It's like playing the lottery. Are you going to win the lottery? Maybe, maybe not. But if you don't play, you don't win. And I'm not a proponent of telling you to play the lottery. I'm using that as an example. The only way to, for sure, not sell your house during an open house is not to have an open house. So anyways, let me just tell you something else about those Celina homes real quick. Those Carter Ranch homes in Celina. There was price reductions on most of them. So of all the homes that sold, there were price reductions, but they were within what you would expect a home to be reduced in order to sell. They weren't significant. They were average. Most of the homes came down $3,000, $4,000, maybe $5,000, which is kind of built in from the beginning. You know people are going to want to negotiate. You know they're going to want a better deal. So you build that in up front. A few of the homes, 2 or 3 maybe, went up above the asking price. So there's something really substantial. 2 of the homes came down less than $10,000 each, but you know, at the higher end of that range. So let's say, you know, just under $10,000. So not bad numbers at all. So the secret should be figure out what did those particular homes have that the rest of them don't. Is it a better layout? Probably not. Is it a better price? Yeah, could be. Is it better marketing? Is the home actually showing better? Does it look like something someone would want to buy? Almost guaranteed. So there's your little tips and tricks right there. We're going to go much deeper on that in a minute, but I want to hop over real quick to Light Farms. Light Farms is very unique in what's going on over there. So there's a lot of movement over there right now, but homes are oh my goodness. I mean, in many cases, they're literally camping forever. So if I had a home right now in Light Farms, you would need to be 100% on your A game in order to sell a home in Light Farms right now. The homes are wonderful. The community is fantastic. But for whatever reason, competition over there is about as fierce as I've ever seen it anywhere. So, and I've seen a lot of real estate over all these years. Let me tell you right now, there's actively 16 homes for sale in Light Farms. 4 of those have been on the market for less than 30 days. 2 have been on the market 30 to 60 days. 1 60 to 90, but 9 homes have been on the market for longer than 90 days. So if you add together every home that's been on the market for less than 90 days, you've got 7. If you look at how many homes have been on the market for over 90 days, you've got 9. So over 50% of the homes on the market over there have been on the market for longer than 3 months. Okay? It's just crazy. Now let's take a look at what has sold. So there's a little bit of good news in the solds, and there's certainly a takeaway in the sold. So let's just talk about that real quick. First of all, how many homes have sold in the last 90 days? 25. How many of those sold in less than 30 days? So 25 homes have closed in the last 90 days, and 8 of those homes have sold in less than 30 days. That should give you an idea of what is possible in there. So when you see this and you think, oh my God, most of the homes are sitting there, they're not selling fast and that sort of thing. Some do. Now figure out why and apply that. It's very, very, very basic real estate. 30 to 60 days on the market, there were 2. 60 to 90 days, there were 4. And 90 plus days on the market, there were 11. So, the numbers are not stellar. They're just not. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news. What I want to do is help educate you and tell you that you can sell your home. I don't care where it's at. You can sell your home, but you're going to have to take the steps necessary to ensure that you absolutely get it right. And I can't tell you how many homes I drive past these signs in these yards and the homes for sale, and the grass is 2 feet tall. I don't know about you, but my first impression of that home, you've already lost it. I don't care what it says on paper if I can't even drive past it and get a very good impression of it. Imagine that you know all of the ingredients that go into some amazing dish at some restaurant, but when they bring it out to you, the plate doesn't even look presentable. It doesn't look nice. There's fingerprints all around the edges of the plate, and it's just presented in a very poor manner. The food on the plate may be fantastic. If you could look at the ingredient list on that particular item, you would be impressed beyond belief. And it may be the most amazing dish ever. But guess what? First impression is terrible. So you've already started off on a bad foot. So that being said, if you're in Light Farms, you are absolutely going to have to do what I was saying about Carter Ranch. You're going to have to make your home look incredible. You're going to have to invest the time to make it look wonderful. It needs to have the best presentation that you can possibly imagine. It needs to blow every other house away. It needs to just be a showstopper. And that doesn't mean that you have to invest a fortune in doing all kinds of things to it. You don't have to go in there and put all new granite in and this and that. You don't have to do all that. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about simple things. I'm talking about having the home prepped for sale. We'll go into that more in detail in just a second. I don't want to get too deep into that right now, but you've got to have the home ready to sell. And then you've got to make sure that your pricing for that home is exactly right. Not necessarily what the market says it should be. You may need a better strategy than that. You may need to come down under market a little bit in order to get a lot of traffic to your home. And then, let me educate some real estate agents real quick. And then you're probably going to get more than one offer, and you're going to be driven up to what the fair market value for that home is. Or here's an alternative option. Overprice your home, let it sit there forever, get discouraged with your realtor, fire them, blame it on them, which it kind of is their fault if they are the ones who told you to do that price. It's not their fault if they told you to do it at a different price, but you were hard-headed. That's your fault. And then go through all of this time and eventually get an offer and get sick and discouraged with sitting there going through this entire process and ultimately lower your price anyways. But by now, you've already made a mortgage payment for every month. You're paying property taxes for every month that thing sat there. You're paying for upkeep, maintenance, utilities, your HOA fees, all of that stuff. All of that has taken, but you could have just priced it properly in the beginning and not continue to do all that. And guess what? Put it all behind you. Move on with your life. Get the stressful stuff behind you and move on. So anyways, I can sit here and say this all day long, and there's still going to be people who are still going to choose the absolute most, incorrect person to represent them on their home. They're still going to misprice their home. They're still not going to prep the house and have it ready. They're still not going to have the best pictures. They're not going to have the best photography and videography done. They're going to have very poor, if any, marketing done. And they're going to sit there and they're going to camp forever and get discouraged and have a very, very bad experience with what real estate is. It doesn't have to be that way. Anyways, guys, let me take a pause right here. Definitely heard car doors outside. Doesn't mean someone's coming in, but I need to go check, and I'll be back very shortly. All right, guys, I am back, and I apologize for the continual breaks, but it was really important for me today to bring you all of this information and to help you, because if you're considering going on the market with your home somewhere in Celina, you need to go in and be fully prepared for exactly what the market is and what the demands of today are. We are no longer in a situation where it's a hot seller's market and you can throw your home on the market and expect to have 10 people show up on the first day and overbid each other until you get, $20,000 higher than what you're asking. Those days are past. Now you're in a very competitive market. It's still possible to sell your home. We're certainly not in just a buyer's market. That's not the case. So we're kind of in the middle right now. And you're competing with new construction, especially in a city like Celina that's growing so fast. You have so much new construction, and inventory has finally started catching up. So no longer is it that the only thing available is the pre-owned homes. Now you've got pre-owned homes and new homes, and the new construction is competing very well with each other. New construction is competing very well with pre-owned homes in pricing. So it's a tough situation right now if you think you're going to go on the market, overprice, and underproduce as far as the quality of your product, which is your home. Then you're going to be really, really, really sad whenever it just sits there and you don't sell. So let's go past that, and let's go now into what you can do with a home in order to get it ready to sell. Like, what is the most important things that you need to consider in order to sell your home? And I'm not talking about pricing. Pricing is absolutely critical. We'll talk about that in just a minute. I'm talking about the actual things that have to do with your home as far as the appearance. So it's a product. It's something you're trying to sell. Wouldn't matter if it was a car. Wouldn't matter if it's a house. Wouldn't matter if it's, a stereo system or something. Whatever it is, it's a product. And you're trying to reach out to your potential buyers and help them understand that they want your product. Now they're going to be looking on the market at everything else as well. So they're trying to decide, is this the one I want, or is this the one I want? Why is this one better than this one? Sometimes it's price. More often than not, it comes down to totally different factors, and you can control much of what that person thinks by virtue of what you put out there for them to see. So not just see, let me actually go beyond that. It's what they see, it's what they hear, it's what they smell, it's what they touch, it's all of their senses. So when you get a home ready for sale, your drive-up appeal needs to be fantastic. The outside of your home needs to look really good. So am I saying you need to go invest $10,000 in new landscaping? No. Am I saying that you need to trim the bushes out front, that you need to lift the canopy of the tree if it's down too far? Yes. Am I saying that you should keep the lawn mowed and edged and keep the grass as green as you can keep it and probably have some color out there? You better believe it. Those things are more like regular maintenance things. Those aren't high expense items. Now, can you add some flower pots or some sort of art, like in some stones or some things that can make it even look better? Of course you can. But that's going a little bit further than what I'm actually talking about. You would be surprised at how many homes for sale don't have just the basics taken care of. So when you just take care of the basics, you're already ahead of the game substantially. The next thing you need to do is think about, what does your home look like to a person who's never been there before when they walk through that front door? When they walk up and they open that door, how does it seem? Is it dark because you've got all the blinds closed? Does it smell like dog or cat? Do they see carpet that needs to be stretched or repaired? Do they see clutter and toys and stuff like that everywhere? Maybe. You'd be amazed at how often I see that. Again, I'm not talking about having to have everything perfect. I'm talking about pick up your mess. I'm talking about if there is something like carpet that needs to get stretched, call a carpet company, spend the little bit of money it takes to actually have that carpet stretched and make it look nice, because I don't want to walk in and see ripples all in your carpet. I don't want to walk in and see that you have the taste for aqua colored walls or, zebra stripes or whatever the case may be, because that doesn't suit me. I would rather see something neutral. that I can at least imagine it's not gonna be very hard for me to make it fit in my taste. If it looks like I'm gonna have to pay a fortune to cover up all of this paint that you've done, all of your polka dots and whatever else you've got going on, or your crazy brazen red walls, or whatever it is that you felt the need to do on some weekend, a year ago, that's not gonna be good, because that looks like money to me. That looks like effort to me. That makes this more of a challenge. I already don't like the fact that it looks like I'm gonna have to do the yard. I'm gonna have to invest some money in the front yard just to get it in order. I'm gonna have to trim all your bushes. I'm gonna have to shape up your trees. And there's no flowers out there. And then I come inside and I think automatically it smells like a wet dog in here. And what in the heck am I gonna do with these walls that are painted these insane colors? So that's my point. Eliminate or overcome all of these obstacles, but you need to have a perspective of a person who doesn't love your home, who isn't sold on your home, who is not you, and who can then come in and have that clear vision for what needs to be done. You need to be that person if your real estate agent isn't capable of doing that. And trust me, just because a real estate agent has that piece of paper that says, I'm a real estate agent, does not mean they know how to do this. So you may have to take matters into your own hands and take care of these things now. Beyond your drive-up appeal and the impression that a person gets whenever they're inside your home, it really comes down to details many times. So you may have a home that has, let's just say, not as much updating in it. And maybe it's lacking in a few areas as far as some of those more challenging, more expensive items. But what you can do is take care of what you do have. So I'm not sitting here saying you better go spend $35,000 and upgrade your kitchen. You may need to do that if you want top dollar, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about at least walk through your home and look at all the brass doorknobs you have everywhere. Nothing says 1998 like brass doorknobs. It takes, on an average home, it takes about $100 to $175 spent on new doorknobs to replace everyone in your house. And then it looks so much better. It doesn't date your home. Small improvement, something you can typically do on your own. If you know how to use a screwdriver and have an hour or two, you can change every doorknob in your home. What about in your kitchen? Maybe your kitchen is not super modern, but do you have really, really, really old pulls on the cabinets and drawers? I'm not saying go to the designer warehouse and get the most expensive thing you can find. I'm saying go find something that looks modern, that's still very affordable, and replace all of that. Give your kitchen a very light facelift by doing the little things you can do. What about the paint in your home? Paint is something that can be changed. It's not always something that you can do yourself, but it's not necessarily something you can't. It's all going to depend on your skill level. But let me just tell you this, adding an accent wall in a house where there is like really not that much color can make a significant difference. The thing is, you have to make sure that your taste and whatever you would choose for that accent wall is the best thing for the home. And so the way you do that is to go through and look at magazines, go on the internet and search exactly that topic. Find out what the trends are right now. Find out what people are liking. Find out what has mass appeal right now. I always go to Sherwin-Williams and I choose like the color of the year and I look at it and I see, does that work with this particular home? And I have a few favorites that I tend to stick with. And I've got this home that I'm in right now has a lot of my favorites that are popular right now in this home. And there's not been a single person who hasn't walked in this home and complimented the way it looks in here. It's not particularly any better layout than any other home. It's not situated, it doesn't have a great view of some lake or pond or something. It's not anything like that. But the home looks incredible with the colors and the attention to detail that's done throughout the home. So all the switch plates in this particular home have been wiped down with a magic eraser so that they're very clean and white like they're supposed to be, not, with stains and fingerprints on them and things like that. All of the doorknobs have been replaced. The ceiling fans were each assessed to determine, is this the best fan for this room right now? And there were, I believe, 5 fans in the house, and I believe 2 were considered, in my opinion, to not be the correct ceiling fans for this home. The others did, and they stayed. But in particular, I'm sitting in the living room right now. I've got the kitchen behind me and the eat-in kitchen, and all of that is right back behind me, so you can't see the ceiling fan right up here. But this ceiling fan that is in the middle of this room, this is a prominent room. It's one of the first things you see when you walk into this house. And it had a very dated fan up there. So we found a fan, not super expensive, but a very good fan, and had it installed, and it makes all the difference in this room. I can maybe move to the side just a little bit. I don't know if you can see, there's 2 light fixtures. You're not able to see them because of the lighting, but there were 2 light fixtures here that were also very dated, and both of those came out and were replaced. One is like a chandelier type light, that hangs down. Totally replaced that with a new one. And then one was a long fluorescent light. Totally replaced that one with something smaller and much more fitting to this particular home. Small, detailed things. None of this costs a fortune. All of this stuff is either do-it-yourself stuff or hire someone to do it, and it doesn't cost a fortune to have someone, put up a ceiling fan or a light fixture, or to change out, some cabinet handles or doorknobs. All of that is stuff that you can probably do yourself. Now, let me tell you something that I did in this home, and I do in all the homes, something you need to consider as well. And it's something that I get an awful lot of pushback on until it's actually done, and then people always come around and say, okay, I had no idea it made that much difference. There is different types of light bulbs that you can put in all these fixtures and all throughout your home. And they range, I'm not going to get technical with the ratings, the numbers and all that stuff. But basically from warm light, which kind of has a warm golden glow, all the way up to the daylight version, which has a bright white, almost a shop light to it. So you may prefer a particular type over the other, but you need to take and assess your home, and for sure try not to have mixed light. So if your home is one where you have more of that warm light effect, have it throughout. If your home has more of that daylight effect, do that. But you need to consider how that appears, because if you do the warm light, sometimes it can bring everything down and make things seem kind of dark and not as open and as light. So that's something to think about. But on the other end of the spectrum, the daylight bulbs can actually look like shop lights. Everything can be very harsh and just very, very bright white, and neither end of that always works in every situation. In this particular house, I started with the bright white because I wanted to really lighten this place up, and I wanted that. I made it through one room and decided right away it was the absolute wrong way to go. Returned all of those bulbs and came back with the warm light, and let me tell you, it makes all the difference in the world. So every light in this house has the warm light now, and it looks tremendous in here. Light bulbs didn't cost a fortune. We did the LED bulbs and replaced all of them in the entire house, and it looks incredible. It gives the whole house a real particular feel. So that's part of it. That's that little attention to detail I'm talking about. How many homes do you go into? How many homes have I gone into? And there's a bulb out on the ceiling fan. There's a vanity light out in the bathroom, or there's one room that has 2 lights out, and I can't tell you. Forget ever even trying to match the warmth of the lights or the color of the lights. You can't get past the fact that they're just burned out here and there in the house. And I don't know how in the heck you expect to sell a home for $250,000 on up when you can't even replace the light bulbs. Your front yard looks terrible. You've got lots of odd colors on your walls. The house doesn't smell great. And then you wonder why your home is sitting there and not selling. I can tell you specifically why it's not selling. There you go. There's part of your list. All right, now let's talk about that for just a second. So it's not just that people need to be able to walk in and get the visual part of your home, or actually from the minute they pull up in front of your house, but they also need the audio and the smell sensory. They need as much as they can possibly get that's going in a positive direction, because they're thinking about spending an awful lot of money on your house or on someone's house. And the best experience that they can have is probably who's going to be at the top of the list for consideration on who's going to get that big giant lump sum of money and sell their house. So that being said, how do you accommodate these things like the audio and all of the other senses, the smell and everything else? Well, you do it like this. First of all, well, let me just show you. I'm going to grab this. I have these things plugged in different places around this house, and those typical things that you use. You plug it in and it's got some liquid in it, and when this thing is on, it puts out a really, really nice smell. And again, I would never use something in this that's kind of out on the edge of what most people would probably like. Something that's clean, something that's basic, and not necessarily my particular taste, but the one that's going to appeal to most people. So I have these things all over this house, and it makes a significant difference, because when you walk in, not only does everything look fantastic, but you also have that smell. Now, on an open house like this today, I've also got a big plate of snacks set out over here, and I've got bottles of water. So am I appealing to people's taste as well? I am. And over in the corner, and I have it turned down right now because of the reasons, for copyright infringement and stuff like that, but there's actually music source right over here on the side. And so when people come in, the house looks good, it smells good, you have good sounds, you could walk over and have a good taste experience. Basically, everything in this house is set up so that you're gonna have a really, really fantastic experience when you come into it. So are you not loving, this or that or this in the particular house? Maybe. But can you overcome that? Is your overall feeling towards the home good? It is, because I managed that. I made sure that everything was as perfect as it can be. Now then, you do that. You get the proper pricing, and you combine a good experience in the actual home. You do these things that I've talked about. I'm gonna actually walk around and show you. We've done a little soft staging in this house, and you can pay an awful lot of money for staging, or you can do soft staging. This home we did soft staging, and we did it ourselves, meaning we purchased the things that you see in this home. You can see some of the things behind me. A lot of that stuff you can pick up at garage sales, you can find it at discount stores, you can find it all over the place, and it's perfect for soft staging a home. Look at some of the things on the counter back here, even up on top of the fridge. All the cabinets are wiped down, doorknobs have been replaced. Now, this particular home has Formica countertops. These may not be the perfect countertops for most people, but guess what? When you walk in and these cabinets look this good, and all of the little things are set out, you have a really good experience with all of this that you might not normally have if it wasn't soft staged and things like that. So can you get around these countertops? I bet you can get around those countertops, because everything looks fantastic here. You may hate the countertops, but I don't think the countertops are gonna be a deal breaker when everything else is right. So your goal is to make everything as right as you can in your home when you go to sell it. So I was saying that it's not only getting everything to look right and have all those senses taken care of and providing a good experience, it's also pricing your home properly and marketing your home properly. So what does that mean? That means that you need someone who absolutely understands how to reach potential buyers for your home. You can throw it on the MLS, and that's certainly going to bring about a certain number of people. It is. But what about Facebook? What about Instagram? What about all of the different social media things? When someone's not actually at the house, what is their experience with your house? Do you have wonderful, amazing pictures and photographs that represent the home to these potential buyers? Do you have an incredible video that just shows the home in fantastic detail that's a pleasant experience for them to watch the video? Or do you have nothing? Do you have the free panorama that most real estate agents use because it comes free with the listing on MLS or whatever? Do you have pictures that they walked around literally with their cell phone and snapped of your house, and that's what's on the MLS for you? Is that the best representation that you have for your home out there in the world? Is cell phone pictures that are not corrected for lighting? They're not just set up well. In other words, they're not composed well, so they're not framed well. The picture is just like a flat, lifeless image. Oh, and by the way, look at this big high price that we're asking for this home. Is that how it is? Maybe. So take all of those things into consideration. See what you can do to make those things better. And I want to do this. I'm gonna flip the camera around and I'm gonna walk you through this house real quick and just show you some of the light staging. And then I'm gonna let you go for the day. I have covered an awful lot of material today. I know this is a very long video, but it's critically important because if you look at those numbers in Celina right now, I'm providing the solution for almost every one of those homes that are not selling right now. Plain and simple. You know, I'll say it. That's exactly what I'm doing. So let me take this camera. I'm going to flip around and walk you through this house real quick. All right. First of all, here is a little bit of light staging that we did in the living area of this particular house. Behind that, you can see the color that I have on the wall. And that is the accent color in this room. You can see the chairs. The chairs are some extra chairs. The rug is an extra rug. The little table, all the things on the table. None of this stuff was purchased for a whole lot of money. This is kind of a Michael's little set of whatever those little decorative deals are, and an extra little vase type deal down there, and then you kind of see the finished result. A pillow that didn't cost a fortune, and it all goes together very, very well. Now the whole rest of this room, there's nothing else in this room, but you don't need anything else in this room. That is exactly what you need in this room in order to make it just perfect. You do notice that all the trim is very detailed. All the switch plates are pretty much perfect. Let me just kind of walk you over to this bar and kitchen area, and you're just gonna have to bear with me with the lighting and stuff for just a minute. Little odds and ends just set out in different places to make this look really good. So now let's we're gonna walk back to one of the other rooms and let me show you kind of what we did in some of those. All right, here we are in the office, and I chose another designer color in the office to kind of set it apart from the bedrooms. And again, that's a $20 rug from a garage sale, another extra chair, a small table, a couple of little things to set out on it, and all the doorknobs, everything had been replaced with the brushed nickel, and everything just looks absolutely clean and wonderful and perfect in here. And it didn't cost a fortune to do any of this stuff. So as you can see, that's kind of what we're doing. Now that plant right back there, there's actually a I don't know, it's like a modem or something to do with the security system right back there, hid with a small plant. That's how you go in and soft stage a home like that. So there's a couple of things like that. I'm going to take you into maybe one more room to give you just a little more of an idea of what soft staging, we've done on this home and what you can do, and then we'll wrap this video up. So bear with me for 1 second. Let's go into that other room. All right, I decided what I'm going to do is just show you this is a master bathroom. A couple of cute little things set out on the counter right there. Mostly just clean and kind of ready to be shown just as is. So changed out the hardware in the cabinets, updated that, and essentially it just looks nice. It shows well, presents well. Light fixture was replaced with something very simple, but it matches and looks nice. Everything in here just makes this thing ready to go. So that's kind of that. You notice we didn't upgrade the tile or do any of that in there, but you can see past that. That may just be something that you see as a negative. Maybe you don't love that tile on the floor. We weren't going to spend that kind of money on this particular house, but look at the cabinets, countertop, the way that it presents. Otherwise, it really helps you get past maybe that tile on the floor. All right, guys, that's pretty much going to wrap up this video for today. And again, I apologize for the length of this video, but there is so much I wanted to say about the homes that are for sale in Celina right now, and to see if I can actually help you avoid some of the same problems that are making these homes sit out there forever, have to go through multiple, price drops. And then you can just imagine on the other side, for every one of those homes that's sitting out there and not selling, there's probably a family that is very discouraged and can't move on with their life, and they've got to deal with the stress of having their home sit out there and not sell. So that's all avoidable. I hope that you found some of the tips and hints and tricks and all of those things, whatever you want to call it, helpful today. I think it's just basic real estate. I can't imagine that any of this is complicated and not being done in every single case. But nonetheless, I literally go into so many different homes and I see that those things are not being done. Homes are overpriced, they don't present well. Heck, half the time they don't even have open houses. There's no marketing even going on, yet the price is higher than it should be. And guess what the end result is? You kind of know. So anyways, guys, that's going to wrap this up. Check me out on all of my social media. I am at facebook.com/Ron Lyons Realty. I am on YouTube as well. Very easy to find on there. Just go search for Ron Lyons Realtor and check out some of my YouTube videos. I am literally all over the place. So just check me out, connect with me. You can reach me at 214-783-5440. You can shoot me an email at ron@friscorealestate.net, or you can just come over to 504 Dartmoor in Celina and knock on my door. I'm very, very, very accessible and always ready, willing, and able to help you in any way that I can. So I love doing real estate. I think it's amazing. I live in Celina. I love Celina. Used to be a Celina police officer and moved on from there to Frisco. And I've been in the area, served as police officer in different cities up here, and have been in real estate for many, many years, back before being a police officer and since. So hit me up. Ask me questions. Let's talk real estate. Let's talk about anything else that you want to talk about. And, of course, as always, be on the lookout for my next video. I've got a radio show on iTunes, and so you can find me on iTunes, on the Ron Lyons Real Estate Show. You can find me on Alexa if you just enable the Texas Real Estate app. I've got a show on the Amazon Alexa platform. So I am all over the place and full of good information for you. So some people would say maybe full of something else too, but I don't think so. Let me talk to you soon about your house and how I can help you. And until then, stay safe, stay blessed, and I'll see you on my next show.